All right, we have this video here. It's called Men. The Brutality of Men, that is, by Big Will. We're gonna look at this. I couldn't get past the thumbnail. Somebody else couldn't get past the thumbnail either. So, we're going to get into this. I have no idea. Apparently, this is about a movie, so let's have a little look-see. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Every little bit of support matters and counts. Thank you so much. We're going in. I don't know what to expect here, so here we go, in fact. I got no idea. But yeah, let's look at Men. We don't know what we did.
Men is a movie about men and how they smell kind of funny. Written and directed by Alex Garland, who wrote the
Smell funny? You're not gonna tell me that, like... What? Smelly men? A movie about smelly men? But it's it has a brutalities. It's like it's a brutal movie, violent. So do they nuke somebody with their stink? Is it like aggressively farting or something? Is it that?
The screenplay for 28 Days Later, the movie about an average day out in Britain, as well as being the writer for Dread, the movie about modern day America. He'd also previously directed Ex Machina and Annihilation, you know, that movie where everything gets annihilated. I don't know, I haven't seen it. As well as working on a screenplay for a movie adaptation of Halo that we never got to see, because God has abandoned us.
Why? I don't know, maybe this would have not turned out well, but we'll see. We'll see. To be fair, I just don't want to see any Halo movies. I don't even want to see Halo games. They're not even doing that well anymore. Have you looked at Halo Infinite? It doesn't even have any large player base anymore. That game is dead, and so is Halo. I don't trust Halo Studios. I mean, they literally hire people that say they don't like guns, but they are working at a company that is literally about a game that where you use guns in.
Beginning with the average person's reaction to watching a Big Will video, we're introduced to the main character of the movie, Harper, played by Jessie Buckley. We see her standing there with a bloodied nose, watching as her husband quickly becomes her ex-husband by attempting to outsmart gravity. After watching a man attempting to figure out his maximum velocity and being a little bit sad about it, Harper is spending a holiday alone in the little English village of Kotzer.
Makes sense. I would also do that, right? It was probably a shit husband then if he probably, right? The bleeding nose is probably because of him. Anyways, why did he defy gravity though? I guess he tried to reach her, but still. Defying gravity is not a good idea. Just saying it. It's not a good idea.
A movie that you can tell takes place in England due to the sheer amount of depression this character is feeling. After arriving at the house and assaulting this poor defenseless apple with her mouth.
I mean, yeah, I'd also be quite sad if I was living in the UK. You guys live in a authoritarian dystopia by now. Isn't that fun? You can't even update your iPhone. If you do, they want you to verify your age when using it. Don't do that.
She meets the owner, Jeffrey, a seemingly strange but nice.
Foreshadowing. Yeah, the name Jeffrey has indescribable problems now. It would be like being named Adolf. Same issue here. Or anything else. Any other. Napoleon. You get the idea. Well, I guess Napoleon isn't that big of an issue, actually. Joseph. Right? Because, like, Stalin.
Man who seems like someone doing their best Boris Johnson impersonation.
Tea in the cupboard, milk in the fridge. Just where you'd expect to find them.
Yesterday I went, as we all must, to Peppa Pig World.
After getting settled into the house, Harper's on a video call with her friend Riley when suddenly the phone glitches to show something that can only be described as highly abnormal. She's not watching those Big Will videos again, is she? Scattered throughout the movie are various flashbacks to Harper's emotionally and physically abusive ex-husband, as they all revolve around him, threatening to take a short drop and a sudden stop from the balcony above if she attempts to divorce him, to which she responds with, "Nah, mate."
Now get them! Down!
Watch your profanity.
Causing him to inspect what their apartment looks like from the outside in, as he simply can't see the point of living with comically small genitals. The time away seems to be doing Harper some good, as she genuinely seems to be enjoying the little things again, like feeling the rain landing on her face and the sound of distant thunder causing her to smile, which unfortunately all comes crashing down as she comes to the unfortunate realization that she is indeed still in England. And when she sees someone at the bottom of a long dark tunnel who proceeds to screech and run straight towards her because the country
Yeah, probably not the smartest idea. Probably illegal. Anyways.
folk are just kinda weird like that. After running away through the picturesque English countryside and coming to the realization that she is now safe, she quickly realizes that she isn't safe as she takes a picture which happens to contain a completely naked man before turning around.
Brother, where did she go? What part of England is this? So I can avoid it? Technically, that would just be all of the UK anyways.
And walking away from the English and their really weird traditions. After politely denying a traditional English fried sausage, she has another flashback of her husband, but this time
Caught taking nudes. Crazy work.
seeing as he's made a really annoying stain on the concrete, where he unfortunately didn't survive his run-in with a metal fence, as it doesn't take very kindly to spousal abuse. Or people falling on it. The next day while on a call, the naked man walks right through the garden behind her, as apparently the breeze feels great this time of year, before standing directly in the window.
Why does he look the way he does? He looks sick. Is this the plague? Does he have the plague? The Black Death?
Making absolutely no attempts to hide whatsoever, not even the slightest bit embarrassed about the currently drafty weather. After noticing him walking around the garden, he attempts to use the letterbox as a glory hole without quite understanding the concept, before it cuts to a naked man placed in handcuffs while another man is on top of him. After I quickly delete my browser history, we see Harper visiting the local church and seeing a stoop that depicts a naked person giving themselves a DIY gynecological exam. Because if there's one thing churches are known for, it's being inside.
Well, that's rather interesting. Anybody seen the picture? Right? The one with the colorful glass that looks like a woman is taking it into both entrances. Yeah. Once you see it, you can no longer unsee it.
Of other people's genitals. She then takes a seat and begins to break down inside of the church doing a little cry, and a preacher appears in the background to be like, "Want a gynecology exam, love?" After entering a church, screaming in it and leaving, she sees a little boy sitting on the steps outside wearing a mask. He takes the mask off, and I really wish he hadn't, as with the face of a grown man, he asks Harper if she'd like to play.
What the that's just the dude. That's just the dude. That's just a grown dude in a boy's body. Well, is a grown boy, is that a boy with a grown man's face? Anyways, that's a bit interesting.
Play a game of hide and seek. I hide forever, and you piss off. She ends up sitting with the priest with the smelly fingers, and tells him the story of how her husband became her ex-husband. After being locked out of their home for hitting Harper, he apparently attempted to climb down from the neighbor's balcony, but slipped because his grip game was weak. And it's about this point where you'd start to realize that either your medication is wearing off, or you've taken far too much. Every male in this film is played by the same actor, Rory Kinnear, including
The boy, the pastor, the police, the naked man. What is this what is this freaky shit?
whatever that little boy was supposed to be. Aborted. That's what it should have been. Well, almost every male, unless blackface isn't beneath him. Characters that, despite only some of them having a minuscule amount of screen time, were all equally fleshed out, as Rory stated that he created an autobiography for each character to make sure that each one of them was as believable as the last. Especially the naked guy. He's my favourite. The priest then attempts to blame Harper for the death of her husband, stating that it's normal for men to strike their wives, and that if she gave him a chance to apologise, he wouldn't currently be being used as plant fertiliser. And in a lesson that needs.
Wait a bit. Is this just like her dealing with the trauma of her husband ending it, and also the abuse she faced? Because that's a bit freaky.
To be taught to little boys all over the world, she tells the priest to fuck off. Harper then runs into Jeffrey at the local pub, before running into Jeffrey at the local pub. After getting to know this really tight-knit community, the police officer from earlier walks in and informs Harper that they released the naked man because they thought it was.
Maybe they're like Nurse Joy, right? Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny. Just all the same people because they're all related. Maybe they're just all related.
Would be funny, and that he needs to be returned to his natural habitat. His natural habitat being hiding behind a tree in a cemetery with his bollocks flapping about in the wind. Relatable. After making it home, She texts the address to her friend Riley, who has a fascination with strange naked British men, before texting her back and telling her that she already knows where she is, as apparently she's incredibly enthusiastic about this particular naked British man. She sees the police officer.
What the something is off here. What's going on? Something's really off here. Wait, what is the friend now? They're all involved.
Staring at her from the garden, before he disappears as the light flickers. When suddenly, one of the men from the pub appears and begins sprinting at her while screaming, because women just have that effect on him. After hiding in the house, hearing a window break, and being jump scared by a sentient chair, Jeffrey then suddenly appears at the front door, because he likes his women, suffering from psychotic breaks. After finding that a bird had flown through the window, he heads outside to put Harper's mind at ease, but the lights flicker once again, and Jeffrey disappears to be replaced with Jeffrey, but naked. He blows dandelion petals into her face, causing her hay fever to kick in and her eyes to water. After that incredibly normal interaction with a naked man, she realizes—
Why is he like? What did he have wounds everywhere? He has spikes from some plants in him. He has scars everywhere. Who is this naked man? Who is he?
that her social meter is depleted and would rather not interact with the English. She walks inside, politely shakes his hand out of awkwardness as he puts it through the letterbox, before stabbing him in the arm with a knife because screw that body part in particular. After pulling his arm back through the letterbox, slowly tearing it into two as he goes, the wound begins to resemble one of the wounds that her husband suffered after forgetting that physics were a thing.
What the fuck? What is this movie? Why were you making this? Who was making this? What is wrong with you?
Two things that I'm not going to be able to show you, unfortunately, because YouTube will put me in the naughty corner. Again, uncensored videos for YouTube members and patrons.
Yeah, they've already tried it. They've already tried it. With me as well. Just don't show anything that could get me in trouble.
Wink wink. She then sees the younger boy, with him now having the sliced open hand, as he's dragging the dead bird across the counter with the mask on its face. Ugh, all men are the same. He then approaches her with his floppy appendage, looking like he needs to be beaten more by his parents, before telling Harper that they're going to play a game of hide and seek. You hide, and I seek professional help. Another man from the pub breaks in, and just like—
Well, after this movie, seeking professional help might not be a bad idea. That might actually not be too bad. That might actually be a good idea.
Like the average Stella drinker, desperately tries to assault a woman. The priest then walks into the room that she's hiding in to tell her about their Lord and Savior, where he then proceeds to ask her how old she was when she lost her virginity, like a completely normal person. After getting those formalities out of the way, he puts his strong hand around her throat and begins breathing like Nikocado Avocado after an unfortunate run-in with a set of stairs. And after giving the priest just what he wants, a bit of penetration, Harper drives away from the house, but accidentally runs—
Well, yeah. Surprise. Very surprised. I'm not surprised. Wow. It's just all the same dude. What is the meaning of this movie? It's all just the same person over and over, though. If we're like the husband, I could see it, right? But like, not even the husband, it's a random.
Jeffrey over for standing in the middle of the road like an idiot. He then gets up from that rather minor inconvenience, pulls her from the car, and steals it for himself, because this is the effect that video games are having on the elderly. After driving away, but just kidding, I'm coming back, he crashes the car trying to run Harper over, when the naked man appears with his face covered in twigs and leaves, as he wants to show her this really cool new stick he found. Resembling both the stonework from the church's stoop and extreme mental illness, his ankle snaps, a vagina appears where it very much shouldn't, and he births out a human. Another version—
Who made this? Why is this so freaky? What the fuck? I am avoiding the UK for the rest of my life, and I've never been there. I'm gonna avoid it. I'm even avoiding the food. Christ.
Version of Jeffrey with the same slit in his arm. Well, and down below too, I guess, as this one's stomach begins to bulge as well before giving birth to themselves. Literally, a scene directly inspired by the anime that Alex Garland and his daughter got hooked on, Attack on Titan. An anime that, unfortunately for anime fans, doesn't have a 2,000-year-old being in the body of a 6-year-old girl, but an anime that involves extremely terrifying yet strange large humanoid creatures who consume people for sustenance. That person then follows Harper further into the house and begins to give birth through their back, because that's how all of that
Okay, so naked dude gives birth, right? The birth thing gives birth. And then that birth thing gives birth through his back. Is there any birth that I should know that are still happening here?
That works. Followed by Harper
The MPreg is strong in this one. I must say, the MPreg is quite strong.
not wanting to pay child support, picking up an axe from the other side of the room, and watching as it's the foot fetish people's favourite part of the movie as he gives birth feet first out of his mouth. After finally learning how babies are born, Harper's ex-husband suddenly walks into the room, with his injuries representing the injuries he received after his impromptu meeting with the concrete. The constant cycle of birth and injury, possibly representing the constant cycle of Harper's grief as she repeatedly thinks back to the moments before and after the death of her husband, before finally confronting him in the house as an interpretation of her confronting her grief, with each of the men Harper is introduced to possibly representing parts of her ex-husband. Jeffrey, at first a seemingly nice and helpful person, with something far more sinister beneath the surface. The little boy, rude and insulting when he doesn't get what he wants. The priest, a bit of a weirdo to be honest. The men from the pub, being outright aggressive and violent. And the naked guy. Penis. All being something that isn't definitively answered, and something that probably won't be definitively answered, as Alex Garland has stated that he doesn't like things to always be explained, so would much rather.
I mean, maybe that's for the better. Because, like, that means you get into the twisted mind of a man doing freaky movies. Whether they look at me freaky, they look at me like they want to touch me.
You sit back and relax and watch his feel-good movie about a landlord named Jeffrey. Do you want to get access to all uncensored versions of my videos going forward? Or how about getting access to the exclusive Discord server? Well, if you're interested in that type of stuff, consider checking out the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Starting with this week's new YouTube member sign-ups, a massive shout out to JUMK, Alexis, Dreas.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. So, to summarize, we have a movie here that's very interesting. Woman gets sees her abuser get obliterated, abuser and husband get obliterated. She goes to the UK and then she just deals with her trauma by seeing the same dude over and over in different versions, and him giving birth to himself over and over and over and over. That doesn't sound particularly fun, and I'm not particularly happy about this, but I guess this is a movie that does exist. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, because, you know, that's what you should do. Also to this channel. Also to this channel. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.